Hey there, Marina here. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Of course, all the videos I'm doing, the focal point is this me, this whole me-ness that has a problem or wants to express itself or whatever. I've been doing a lot of mindfulness-based inquiry and lots of different practices over the years, and it really does come down to that. The focus, anytime we struggle, it's that there's this sense of an identity of me who's in the middle of it all, having a certain stance or position in relation to what I'm dealing with. So whether it's me having my depression, notice the ownership, or me being angry, notice the identification with I am angry. So it's like this whole beingness, and really noticing how that shifts and how fluid we are, and how there is no real me here. There's a me here in relation to whatever I'm dealing with. There's a me in relation to you. There's a me in relation to my feelings or my thoughts. Again, notice the ownership, like they're mine, but they're not really mine. It just really feels that way when there's an identification. And I share this because none of what I've shared before I am attached to in terms of that's just how it is. The importance of all this expression is wanting to let it be fluid, that all of these things are true in the moment that they're true, and letting them happen, not stopping any of it, not being afraid that then it lands me in a place, or any fear of judgment that shows up that, oh no, now I'm going to be pegged as this type of person, or unstable, or wide-ranging, no solid ground. If I identify with emotion or thought, I'm being yanked this way and yanked that way, and I'm constantly in relation to that fluid expression that changes all the time. It's like the weather. And yes, when I'm doing those videos, I'm in it. I'm totally in it. And then I recognize that, and then I make a video like this that I want to share also. And this brings me to this thing that I've been really exploring lately, which is the layers of our consciousness. That within the realm of that layer where I'm identified with my depression, when I'm identified with my anger, those are different states. Like for the way I look at with depression, it's a state of being or a state. It's not so much identifying with an emotion, although it's mixed with some emotion, even flatness, sensation. With the anger, it was very much identified with the emotional state of something and then the words describing it. But there's this state or level or layer or whatever we want to call it of consciousness when, really seeing from a wider perspective. So it's like when I'm identified with emotion, it's much more zoomed into the emotional field. There's a bias toward emotional way of being and really identifying with that. A lot of people identify with thought, a lot of thinking. They might feel things that are intense, but their bias is toward really in the thinking realm, intellectualization, analysis. I have some of that too. But I think when I sink in, I'm very biased toward emotions and feelings, and then the mixture with thoughts. And then there is this, when you zoom out, noticing all of it and realizing that all of it comes and goes. It's all fluid. And I am none of that. And I'm not even the one witnessing and observing that. Even that state isn't a constant. I mean, yes, there's this presence, witnessing, awareness that's always happening, whether you're aware of it or not. But I am not that either. I am that when I go into that state, then I'm that. So it's this way of being able to jump from different states of consciousness. And I think we do it all the time. Also, some people are fluid more than others. Some people really identify with a certain smaller range of existence. Maybe they don't zoom out as often. They don't recognize that kind of wider perspective that's available. And some people don't zoom in enough. I have that tendency. For a long time, I live out here, being the peaceful observer of everyone else, but then I'm not engaged and I'm not grounded. And it also causes me to be in denial of real life issues, like I have to pay my bills and I have to eat and I have to talk to people about mundane things in life, like at the grocery store, counting money, like super basic day-to-day interactive grounded needs are there too. So it's like we're operating, all of us operating in these different levels of consciousness all the time. And I also want to offer that it's not consciousness this way. It's consciousness, I like to call it like slots, where I go in, okay, I'm super identified with my emotional being, and I come out. Super identified with my thinking being, and I come out. And when I come out, it's like I am the jukebox that holds all these songs. And each song is a layer of consciousness. And I have my own mixed tape or mixed CD of music that encompasses all these different layers. Jazz, improv jazz, is a playful mixture of the sad and the happy clown or something. I'm just making all this up. Modern, like electronic music, brings this logical sense with percussion and rhythm in my body or something like that. And there's just this mixture of, what are your layers of consciousness? When you sink into a deeper state of feeling, where is your go-to state that you're very familiar with going to? It could be also joyful states, goofy states, not giving a crap states. And when I mean like layers of consciousness, not so much different facets of emotion, that would be one type. And thought realm is another type. And the witnessing, awareness space is another type. Then there is the creation of using your thinking in a different way as a different plane of consciousness where you're forward thinking, you're in your creative visualization, you're leading your thinking versus being led by it. That's another state within the thought realm. Same with emotional state or states of being, like affirmations would be one state. Abraham Hicks type of feeling your way into manifesting things in your life is another state, is another layer of consciousness. I'm working on mapping all this out, and it feels really important because I don't know anywhere that I've read about this. There's some bits and pieces, I think, with integral theory, Ken Wilber's, Bentina Massaro's Trifinity Academy. I don't know those, but I'm guessing it covers some of these states or layers or dimensions or whatever you want to call it of consciousness. And lately, I feel like this is coming up, that it's how fluid we are in who we are. You can play within the realm of just the feeling state and play within the, I'm crap versus I'm amazing, and noticing the range of emotion that shows up. So it's always you relating to something, and then you're playing within that one realm of consciousness. All of it is valid. It's like all these states, all these dimensions of consciousness are at interplay at all times. And I think in humanity, where we get in trouble is that you'll have someone in one area, in one dimension, and another person in another dimension, and they're arguing about their definitions. They don't realize that they haven't really met each other, that they're each coming from their own plane. And even though they might be talking about God, this person has a totally different definition of God based on where they are relating. And this person has a totally different definition. But then they conflict and they're constantly struggling to meet, and they can't, because it's impossible from different layers, different dimensions, to come to an agreement until you figure out that, oh, what is the definition? What is the plane that I'm working with? That's where you meet. So I've covered a lot here, but the gist of the whole thing is we are fluid. There is no I am. There's no static I am. There's only like hopping of dimensions. Star Trek comes to mind, warp to another, star system, and then this whole set of beings to relate with, and then you warp to another and a whole set, to relate with. And it's really how fluid you are and how willing you are to understand and never assume that they're on the same plane of consciousness as you. And again, I don't look at it as higher or lower at this point. Yes, you can measure vibration of emotion, higher or lower. Yes, you can measure, in the chakra system, when someone is very much in a, coming from a complete lens of safety and security, that they are operating from their lower chakras. And when they're coming from all is one in love and everything, they're operating from here. But this isn't better than this one. There's a place for each level. So if we want to talk about the chakra system, there is a place for each level of those. It doesn't make any of them better. They interact. They are constantly interacting with one another, and some are flowing more than others. And I think we need all of them. We really need all these layers and our fears and securities. And we need the full zoom out, all is one, beautiful, everybody is love thoughts. And then everything in between. Everything in between is needed. And so one area to play with is what areas are you not playing in? What dimension have you avoided playing in? Those are the areas that would be the most interesting in learning for you to explore. So right now, I'm very much in this state of expression, just expression. And it feels really important to do, and sharing ideas, which then comes up to here. So, and none of it is very organized at this point. I'm aware of that too. But it's like this expression needs to come in order to organize it. I need to hear it, express it, and witness it myself in order to organize my thoughts in a clearer way, and make this even more coherent and simple in the future. So with all this said, blah, 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 just pouring out dimensions of consciousness. I think they're linked to this energy center system. Where is your bias? Where do you live mostly? Are you mostly in your emotions? Are you mostly in your head? Are you mostly in visceral senses of the body, base, earthly needs that are constantly tended to? Are you living in this beautiful space of all is one and all is well, and kind of rejecting all the earthly plane stuff? They're all relevant. They're all, there's this movement toward embodiment. All of that is relevant on all spectrums. And I like to go this way, not this way. So just an offering, curious what it brings for you, what insights, thoughts, what this resonates or not, what it wakes up in you or makes you yawn. Thank you for watching. That's it for today. Bye.